weekly takeaways. Any other things that stuck out to y'all from other games? Any big performances? Any
Yeah,
concerns y'all saw from teams?
I want to talk about Auburn at Baylor because that was a Friday night game where Jackson Arnold looked very good as a runner, which is we'd already seen from him at Oklahoma when they beat Alabama, but we just didn't see the passing game. He only threw 17 passes, completed 11 of them for 108 yards, but he picked up the 137 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. I cannot wait for them to play a team that doesn't just give them the QB run game, because that's kind of what Baylor was doing, and forces Arnold to make passes, because that's kind of what we haven't seen from him yet. So that's what I want to see from him before I will start to be like, Jackson Arnold is the guy. He is living up to the former 5-star expectations he had. So that was a big takeaway from that game, is Baylor just let Arnold run all over them, which is what he was able to do successfully at Oklahoma. And then on the other side, Sawyer Robertson led a very effective offense, but the defense could just not get a stop. Robertson was 27 for 48 for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it was two very different QB styles. You had the runner and then the guy who's just going to sling it. And unfortunately, the defense for Baylor couldn't get a stop. My other takeaway is the Utah-UCLA game. Or do any of y'all want to say anything about that real quick?
No, you summed up. We'll get into it in the buy and sell as well. So
Utah at UCLA was a really fun game last night. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting my games mixed up. It was an interesting game as far as Nico Iamaleava is concerned, because Nico Iamaleava was the entirety of that offense. That offense, looking at the stats, might be dysfunctional. They were 2-11 on third downs and averaged almost 7 yards to go on third down. That is way too high. You need to be getting yourself in 30 short situations, and they were not. Nico had 13 of UCLA's 28 rushing attempts, so he led them in rushing attempts and led them in rushing yards with 47. That is the second most rushing attempts of his career, behind their playoff game against Ohio State, but it was the 4th lowest yards per attempt of his career. So he was just forced to run, and it was not effective. He was not running effectively. And then on the Utah side, their offense was very fun to watch. They were 14 of 16 on third down and averaged under 3 yards to go on third down, 2.8. And then the quarterback and that offensive line were just really fun. JP, shout out you for finding them in the preview, because Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu were fantastic last night. UCLA could not stop that run game. The Utes had 2 guys average over 5 yards per carry with 10-plus carries. I mean, that is a very effective run game. If you've got multiple guys, it was the quarterback and I think running back 1. And then UCLA had 0 sacks. So the pass protection, fantastic, 0 sacks. The run push was just incredible. I mean, it was just won by that Utah offensive line. So that was really interesting.
Hey, Devin Dampier looked good too.
He did. He looked fantastic.
Led his team in rushing yards as well as passing yards. So that's a promising thing to see going forward for Utah and their hopes of winning the Big 12.
I will say UCLA might be cheeks. So
I think
very
that's completely possible.
Like I said,
very solid win from Utah, but that UCLA team just
let me grab their win total real quick.
is not very talented.
Not at all.
And
win total was 5.5 to begin the year. So
regardless of what you think of Nico Iamaleava, I think we know at this point he's not someone that's just going to absolutely carry a team.
Yeah,
that's out of
he's definitely going to need help.
Deficit.
They're going to have to create some sort of run game. And it's just not right there right now. And then I think my last takeaway is Boise State at South Florida. That was not a result I was expecting. Boise State had a couple huge problems. They fumbled the ball 5 times, and South Florida recovered 3 of them. And then the weirdest thing is they just kept stalling on drives. They had time of possession against USF was 36 minutes to 23 minutes. Like, they had the ball 13 more minutes than South Florida. But they had a 5-minute drive and a 3.5-minute drive that both resulted in fumbles and turnovers. You cannot have that happen. You can't keep the ball that long and then just give it back to them. And then South Florida, the big plays were deadly. They had 322 yards worth of big plays.
Not bad.
That is crazy. 4 of their scoring drives were 5 plays or less. I mean, Boise State just could not stop the big plays and force them to check down or run the ball. It was just constantly getting destroyed for big stuff. So kind of a hard loss for Boise State, because in our preview we talked about how to go to the playoffs as a G5 team. There's a possibility you can only have 1 loss, and it's going to be your P4 opponent. And Boise State still has to play Notre Dame. So now that, can a 2-loss Boise State, are they the potential G5 team? I don't know. We'll find out. It's a long way away. But a tough loss in week 1 for Boise State.
Yeah, I mean, I know JP wants to buy USF. That didn't actually make it into the buy or sell segment. But they just out-physicaled Boise State. Their quarterback, I don't know his name, but he was just running through people left and right. And so while I have cooled on Boise State a little bit, I honestly just came away more impressed with this USF team than anything. I was like, this is a very good group of 5 football team. Now they go play Florida and another Power 4 team in the next 2 weeks. I don't know who. So we'll see how good they really are after
USF, they play at Florida, at Miami.
Yeah, so we will see.
If they win both those, are they a top 10 team?
Well, yeah, I think so.
I'll give them that.
If they win those 2, then they win. Like, they need to win the American.
I'll let them into the
playoff.
SEC at that point.
But I think if for them...
Trade them for Bama since they're better.
I guess I would be kind of... let me save what I'm going to say in the buy and sell segment for them, because what I'm going to say is what I'm going to say then.
Okay. All right, cool.
Another takeaway, I think the takeaway for me is, contrary to popular belief, which I do want to go ahead and say on the record, I'm sorry. If anyone tailed me in my best bets this weekend, it was not great. We went 0-2-1. But me personally, I am 8-5 betting the spread for college football this season. I vow to give better best bets going forward, though, and best bets will continue to be a segment all year long. The biggest thing I'll say is for the people that overreact, and not calling out you, I'm actually calling out my own friends.
Oh, I'm always going to give you a hard time about it, but the fact that you went 8-4,
8-5,
8-5, and missed on your 3 best bets, like, I'm going to give you a hard time, but that's still impressive.
And if South Carolina can cover, I'm 9-5. And if Notre Dame can cover as well, I'm 10-5. But for the people that overreact, and specifically my friends, if you're still here watching, if you're overreacting to 1 week of betting, then you don't need to be betting at all, because this is such a long game. The goal is to be through the season and be 54-50 and be up 3 units. That is how sports gambling works, and that's how it's always going to work. You're going to have hot weekends, cold weekends, mid weekends.
Sure.
So quit overreacting. Quit saying that, oh, you just don't know anything because you missed the first bet of the season. Who cares? Continue to stick with me if you want. Because I am a semi-professional sports gambler. I am one of the few that have made money doing it. So I would like to think I can continue to make money, and maybe we can also make some money together by tailing me going forward.
That's
I don't
that was very bold of you,
Andrew McBride putting the student loan on the 3 best bets. I don't talk about it much, but I am technically a semi-professional gambler. Back when underdog was a thing, I went up I 6x'd my money and then took it out. So
not bad.
Yeah, it was like one Sunday of like a 5-leg parlay that I hit like on a Saquon Barkley over on rush yards, and I was like, all right, bet. I guess I'm done.
Call it wraps, and then underdog got banned in
yeah.
Mississippi.